for gosh sakes.
Professionalism is outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right before we start.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't started, so it's all.
Hey, so I have a buddy who lives in Moore. I lived in Oklahoma. We'll talk about
I
that. But
remember watching you said that. Yeah.
yeah, do you? Weren't there tornadoes that went through just
Every year, but yeah. I've only been there 2 years, but yeah.
2 or 3 weeks, a month ago?
Gosh, maybe 2 months ago, and it hit mostly as Norman, so just a mere south of Moore. But yeah, it did some damage.
Yeah. Hey, I've seen that. I drove that damage survey thing before.
Yeah.
Man.
What I find funny is like when that happened, I had like my mom and some other folks, some friends from Kansas City, like, "Oh, did you guys hit with tornadoes? You guys okay?" And I'm like, yes, we're fine. Thanks for checking. But I lived in Kansas City, and Kansas is Tornado Alley as well. So it's not like
so they
we
say,
don't know what we're doing. I'm
not
like,
Kansas City, but I guess
it's
other
usually
parts
south
of Kansas. Yeah.
See, I think it's amazing how tornadoes don't hit really big cities.
Have you seen a tornado?
Oh yeah,
I'm
the type that goes outside, and I need to go watch it.
It scared the hell out of me.
Born in Kansas, so they're crazy. It just just the howl of the wind is pretty intense.
When it starts picking up dirt and debris, then you can start seeing it's like, oh,
right,
okay.
Although that, and when I moved from Texas to New Mexico, I was driving up through western Texas, and I was crossing the border, and I drove through because they tell you that watch the dust storms out there, and oh yeah, it was nuts.
Panhandle.
God dang.
Yeah, right. Amarillo.
Yeah.
I think is where you go.
Amarillo or the south route, but
worked in Albuquerque for a little bit with farmers who I worked
nice.
for.
I lived in Carlsbad for a year.
Okay, all right.
Liked Albuquerque. Santa Fe's awesome.
Handled a lot of claims in Socorro.
Socorro, I don't know if I've heard of that.
Man, it's just outside Albuquerque. Just little town.
There are a lot of little ones out there.
There are little,
I love New Mexico. I'd love to go back.
No, it was cool. It was really chill. It was a good time. It was a good time. I enjoyed it.
All right, I think we are ready.
Okay.
So we're recording now.
Oh my, you bastard.
What's the thing here? What's the form?
Button her up.
See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen,
100% recorded in Bonner Springs, Kansas.
Kansas City Night.
Hey.
I'm Brian Rice.
I'm Shannon Gieber.
And tonight's guest.
Here we go. It's a list.
Formerly.
Is my hair right?
You got it. Look great.
Formerly of Nine Finger Nun, Looks That Kill, On the Fly.
This could be a 2-hour.
Midlife Crime Scene, Lounge Lizards, 90 Minutes, Suburban.
Oh, hey.
Something about 2 inches shy with brother. I don't know what that was.
He made me put that in there.
Okay.
Bill Cameron, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
And I like how we didn't even throw Seattle in there, which is kind of amazing.
Seattle. We didn't even.
I like it.
I know.
I like it.
Who typed that up? My gosh.
I know something. As I was reading it, I was like, I got 90 minutes. I got 90 minutes conflated with Seattle, so I didn't. So it checked me on that.
Once I saw Nine Finger Nun, I got locked up.
I know it's
mentally.
That was a small moment in time, but yes, that did actually happen.
Okay, we will talk about that then.
Get there, sure.
All right. Well, thank you for showing up. I mean, we've kind of had this sort of penciled in on the book since October.
I think so. Yeah,
you messaged me. You messaged me back in October, like, when are you putting that video up that we filmed?
I was like, well, the bad part is I should have learned my lesson by now, but it's not always the best to sit at home on Friday nights and drink and watch YouTube, because then Lord knows where you end up. A and B, it's like, oh yeah. I gotta talk to him right now. This is perfect.
And I just kind of over the course of time forgot about it, and then I forgot about it some more for another 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. And
you were our first remote interview, right? Was that our first one?
With when we were walking around with the thing? Yeah. I remember. Yeah, he had the. He had it in his pocket, and now there's new gear we've got. We just have little,
we have new tech.
Wow, that's special. I'll say I do remember seeing I caught all the snippets from the last Purple Jam with Tyson, so you guys get some folks up there. I was like, that's cool. I think that might have been when I first started.
Yeah, right. We lucked out with that.
Noticed it there.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
So
right on.
Where do we want to start? I mean, okay,
right.
How long have you lived in Kansas City? Well, you don't live in Kansas City anymore, and you've moved away. You used to for a while.
Right.
Well, before we really sat down, we like to just kind of go through it. chronological order. So, like, where are you,
so to speak?
So where are you from? I mean, you're not from Kansas City.
No, I'm a small town Kansas kid, Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Oh, sure.
A gorilla. So
there you go. Right. Good for you.
We have some
couple of bands in there. But.
All right. So did you go to Pittsburgh State then? And
no, I'm a Purple Dragon. So Pittsburgh High School. I did sign up because the folks made me, go to college. I signed up and went to the orientation day and then doing all that fun stuff around the campus. I'm like, college isn't for me. So I just never went back.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I had friends like, hey, they called your name in, whatever class. I was like, probably not going to see.
No.
All right.
So I didn't go, but yeah.
Now, you got you been to Joplin and Parsons? I mean, you kind of get out that area.
Oh, yeah. All the Southeast Kansas, Chanute. And so I did do a little, I was on the golf team and the wrestling team. I like to do different things in high school. So we played a lot of stuff.
Do you?
Not as much.
Are you still a wrestler?
Yeah. Well, it's none of your goddamn business, but other than
that, right. I have relatives in Chetopa, the catfish capital of the world. And Johnny Burns is from Montgomery County. He's from Caney, and along with John Roy Henderson. So that's all southeast kind of.
Yeah, my wife, her mother lives in Humboldt, which is where she's babysitting our dog for this weekend. So I'll swing back by there on the way back home. So
nice.
Yeah, all the small towns.
So where do you stay when you come visit Kansas City?
Oh, usually my mom's.
Okay. So your mom's still in?
She's over the park. Yeah.
Oh, great. Hey, nice. Good for her. What's her name?
That's Joyce.
Joyce, all right.
Cameron. And then a funny, mention that because mom, moms are always awesome, but I'd moved up here when I was 23, and then I did all the karaoke stuff and didn't do the band stuff for a little bit, but super funny little thing is I met some other folks and we hit all the karaoke stuff, and they do contests, and they had this citywide contest in 94, something like that. And
was the Red Balloon?
It wasn't.
I've never set foot in there, but I've heard stories.
And I have. That's you also burn your tongue off of the old pizza roll buffet bar they had in the back, which was lovely. You got to be careful though.
Yeah.
But I had won, and the top 5 around the city, I'd won our little section or whatever,
nice.
Which is always just it's like a battle of bands. Like, how many friends can you bring? You just won. Good job.
Right.
You're awesome. You have the most friends. But so with 5 of us got to go sing at the Kaufman at the K. And so I do get to say part of my credits is I got to open for Casey and the Sunshine Band, because in the Village People, they're playing in the outfield. We did our karaoke in front of them.
People too. Nice.
So, so my mom was proud about that, and she contacted a friend of ours who was in the Pittsburgh paper, and so they phone interviewed me and had a little article in the paper.
Oh, cool.
I was like, look, this is awesome.
Hey,
and then a little snippet was the lady had interviewed my mom too over the phone. Her name was Nancy Howe, and she called my mom and got a few lines, and my favorite line ever, because I still had the newspaper clipping, but she had asked Mom about if I'd been singing along or something along that lines, and Mom was like, well, yeah, he likes it, but he's got a really good day job, so I hope he doesn't quit that. I was like, thank you for supporting my dreams, Mother. This is fantastic.
Well, when did you begin singing? When did you first discover you had a voice, and was it?
I just singing in the 80s kids, you got to have a big, loud, bumping stereo. So I would just sing in the car.
They called those a boom box. Brian
That's true.
Yeah, I was around back then.
Thumpers back in there. But just that, But I wasn't ever. I hated band in high school. I hated it.
So never any kind of vocal lessons or anything. You just did.
No, not really. I did one just because one of the first bands I was in Pittsburgh, Kansas, called Great Scott, because our guitar player his name was Michael Scott. We graduated together.
Not that Michael Scott.
No. There's a lot of calls. I actually worked with another Michael Scott in Kansas City, so I think I know 3 or 4 of them. But he hated the name because he didn't want his name in it. But anyway, the drummer, Mike Shepard, Skippy, his wife was a signed recording artist for a gospel singer, and she was awesome. And one day Mike's like, why don't you go sit with my wife? And I was like, all right. So we did 30 minutes or whatever, and I did a little octave run or whatever, and she was like, oh, okay, well. She's like,
and how old were you at that point?
17, 18, maybe 18. Right.
And they really didn't have karaoke back then. Were you just kind of singing? You were just kind of singing on your own, just
that was about
along with the boombox? Or
me and another friend of mine were driving to Republic, Missouri.
Oh. Okay. I don't even know if I've heard of that one.
It's over by Joplin.
Okay.
But they had this really nice music store. Had a lot of nice guitars. He was a player, and so we were driving over there, and I think it was Skid Row. We were listening to Blast Away. And
a little 18 in Life.
Yeah, and I'm just singing away, and he turns it down. He's like, hey, all right, would you like...
Yeah. What kind of hair did you have back then?
I rocked a sweet mullet for a long time.
Did? Okay, yeah. Good one.
Yeah, but when I was there, 'cause like I said... Because I worked at, I had there at Bonanza for about 2.5, 3 years.
I remember Bonanza.
And then I did a Western Sizzling stint.
Oh, okay.
Got hired away. But you couldn't have long hair. But we got to wear a hat, so I had... Because this was back when I had the mullet, but we permed the back.
Yeah, I did that as well. I did.
And I would be able to tuck it in my hat. So I got to grow it out a little bit.
Nice.
But that was
good for
you. I never
you.
really had the long hair. So
I kind
my
of
dad kicked
miss
me out.
having that long hair,
Yeah.
It was good.
I do. I mean, it is kind of nice sometimes.
Right,
Sure. Miss those days, but it happens.
Hey, when you won the karaoke competition, what was your go-to song, by the way? What did it for you?
The great part is it was Smells Like Teen Spirit, which is very funny because I'd get in there and I'd stand on chairs and jump around and, do the normal Seattle routine at shows and doing that. And it was a whole lot of fun. And then I won and got to advance and we get to the final. Like, all right, so this is a Kaufman and we're going to be on the video board. And so we can't have certain songs. We can't have girls in bikinis in the video because some of those, we had all this stuff. And the big songbook went down to like 25 songs. And I was like, I guess I'll do Dobie Gray, Drift Away.
And so this is in the late 80s.
No, this is like 93 or 4.
Okay, 93. All right.
Yeah, because I moved to Kansas City when I was 23. So, 22 and turned 23 a couple months later. So,
nice. Okay. And so you were singing, got to Kansas City.
Yep.
And that's kind of where. Did your mom Joyce? Did she move up?
She did later.
Okay.
She did later.
Yeah, she's in Overland Park now. So.
Yeah. Our dad passed away when I was 18. My brother was 17. He was one of those cancer dealios. Sure. But so I. Got up there. I was like, I don't think I want to be in Pittsburgh anymore. And I had a girlfriend, and she had moved up. She's a year or so older than me. So
there you go.
So I followed her up there and had cousins up there still. So
yeah.
And I stayed. I was actually in Kansas City longer than I was in Pittsburgh growing up, which is kind of crazy to me anyway.
Time flies. And you have a brother.
I do.
Okay, what's your brother's name?
Keith Cameron. He's 15 months younger than me.
Have I ever met him? I don't know.
Probably. He comes up. He still lives in Pittsburgh, Kansas, but he comes up to Seattle shows, and we started a while back that, like the last song, we'd play like the first half of Teen Spirit and get people to come up and play, and he plays drums. Okay. Taught himself. So.
All right. So you guys got some talent that runs, some musical talent that runs in the family.
Something goes through there.
Do you play any instruments do you just sing?
Not well, but I play enough guitar to just make myself angry, and then I want to throw it in the corner and not look at it for 6 months.
That Teen Spirit. It's Nirvana. I got what? Say this.
Well, I mean, with your voice, you probably don't even need to even worry about an instrument. You can just come in and
right. But I will say, I've never played, on stage or a show for the most part. But in 90 Minutes, we used to play Brain Stew, Green Day, and then Josh Johnson would get off stage, and one time I was like, "Oh, this green glittery guitar looks fun."
Oh yeah, I know the guitar.
I put it on and played. Well, of course, B. John Pine was playing the other guitar, but I was like, "Yeah, look at me go, Donna."
Did he not bring that guitar to the Purple Jam this summer? Because I'm pretty sure when he shows.
I don't remember. I don't know. We were there.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, real quick before we get off Joplin, or Pittsburgh rather.
Pittsburgh. Okay.
Chicken Annie's or Chicken Mary's on that?
I'm an Annie's.
You're an Annie's?
I'm an Annie's because there's a Mary's and Annie's up north, and then we lived on the south side of town, and there's a Pickler's Chicken Annie's down there. Well, that was only like a mile and a half from us, so we were always there.
Okay, nice. All right.
Which is they live down the road from us as well. So.
Oh, the Picklers?
The Picklers, yeah.
Nice family?
They're not bad.
Yeah.
The older brother, Sean, he's a year older than us. He, be a bit of bully sometimes, but But when you're kids.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Pittsburgh, Kansas, for God's sakes. I don't know. That's great, though.
I always
nice little town there.
It is. It's great to be from, you know.
Yeah.
Just not live there anymore, but.
Well, did you? Oh, yeah, your brother still lives down there.
Yeah, he's still down there.
No, he did not bring the sparkly green guitar to Purple Jam, but I did find a photo of the green guitar.
Yes.
Oh, hey.
From 2009.
Gosh,
so that would have been that era.
He's amazing when it comes to his own photos. He knows. Seriously.
Right.
He can find it within like 5 minutes. It's amazing.
It helps to have your galleries chronological, by year. So, that year, that show was November of 2009. Okay, there it is.
Hey, you're a genius. That's what you are.
I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No.
So when your first band, I mean, was it a cover band or did you do any? Were you ever in an original?
Yes, I've done a couple originals.
And I'm not familiar enough with these names here.
Yeah, I tried to. Yeah, I've been in a lot of bands and this and that, and a lot of them are fairly linked. But no, it was always a cover band in Pittsburgh. I didn't start doing an original band until probably 96 or so up here, and that's when I met Brett Boulez.
Just saw him Wednesday night, as a matter of fact.
I know exactly where you were then.
Yeah, indeed. So what was the first in Pittsburgh? What was the first name of the first band?
First band was Great Scott.
Okay, that's right. You said that. I'm
Pittsburgh,
sorry.
And it's okay. And then played in one other band, and I cannot remember the name of that. We only had like 2 or 3 shows. So it didn't work out well. But
what did you have? What was it like playing shows in uptown like Pittsburgh? I mean, was there like any kind of a music scene whatsoever?
There was because Pitt State there, the Division II college. It's 8,000 students or 5,000, 5,000 or 6,000. But we had a couple little bars, and there's definitely some college bands that played. There's a lot of guys. Doesn't Matter was always my favorite one, and they played a lot up here. And I think Clint still lives here in Bonner somewhere. I've seen him. I can't remember his last name. Clint.
I don't know.
He was their singer though, really good. And they were playing. They did a lot of their own stuff, but they were the first band I had ever heard play Alice in Chains. They did a.
Oh, there you go. Hey, that'll get you.
They played This Ain't Like This, and I was like, this is so cool.
Right.
Well, yeah. So that kind of takes me.
But like it was new. It was a new song when they did it. So I was like, oh.
But you had mentioned at the beginning of the show that you grew up 80s, so that era of rock and roll. But you're sort of synonymous with the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
With the 90s sound, with the grunge and the 90s.
Out,
and so, I mean, does that something ironic? Or but your voice is suited to the 90s stuff, especially, I think.
Thank you. It's weird. I mean, because I always thought, I was like, I'm an 80s hair metal guy. I mean, I grew up wanting to hit every high note I could ever do.
Yeah.
I wanted to try to break glass like Jim Gillette.
Well, yeah, and I recognize Looks That Kill. We'll give you one guess as to what band that was. Looks That Kill.
That would be Motley Crue.
Correct, a Motley Crue tribute from about 10 years ago.
Oh, you were a Motley Crue tribute band?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow. You know what I did? I typed that up and didn't even put that together.
We did the first Monsters of Mock out there at Sandstone in 2012.
Sure. All right.
Which was nuts because it was like 18,000 people there.
Isn't that insane?
Man.
Because what they would do is they'd have a lineup of tributes, and KCDC was one of them.
Yeah. Poison and Almost Kiss.
Rattle and Hum did a couple of those, the U2 tribute, and then you guys did,
They've done, That was such a fun night. Just to be able to go backstage there and be,
I was backstage.
This is how it goes.
John Roy Henderson got me backstage at one of those, and it's just amazing to see that fucking crowd.
I know.
They don't do those anymore, do they?
No, I think the last one they did was 3, 4, 5 years ago. But
pre-pandemic, I'm imagining.
Probably. But my brother went to that one too, and he came up, and we were texting after because we played second, and so we were backstage and just going, woohoo, what a great show, and popping some beers. My brother texted me, he's like, I'll meet you around back. So I go back to the stage and I come back through, and it was packed. It just still blows my mind, but all these people coming up going, hey, can we get your autograph? And I'm like, this is a tribute. My brother's like, I think some of these folks think you guys are the real band. I'm like, I don't know what's going on
it is
here.
Wyandotte County, for God's sakes.
This is true.
No, No, it's true. I don't think they quite make that connection.
Well, they're all getting free tickets.
That's the key. That's why you get 18,000 people filling that space.
Great. That's fine.
What we did.
That's
They gave these 4 of us bands like 500 tickets, and and we were, of course, give them all to friends and this and that. But then we got the idea. We were like, we need like stacks, and so we kept going back. And we'd leave them at liquor stores. We took them to Jerry's. We just left piles. It's almost like going down the highway. Just here we go.
Right, there you go.
Who wants to go?
Some hitchhikers can be like, "Fuck yeah!"
But I just remember the 18,000 people, and they're just and to play. And of course, you grow up watching bands at Sandstone. Of course, what is it today? Azuka or Azura, whatever it is. Providence Amphitheater or whatever.
Well, that's going to get taken over because Live Nation's opening up a amphitheater in Riverside.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember seeing that.
Is it Riverside or Parkville?
It's Riverside.
It's still part of Riverside? Yeah, by the Argosy.
Right. Yes. It's that whole thing. Riverside and Parkville kind of run together.
Yeah. It's by the women's stadium.
Yes, or the practice facility. The women's stadium is actually by Bally's, the old Isla Capri. It's on the other side of the bridge. That's the actual stadium. Their practice facility is in the area that we're talking about.
Yeah, that's over by the Argosy.
Yes, the Argosy.
The Argosy, which is on that's the Kansas side, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's still Missouri.
Oh, is it Missouri?
Yeah, it's still Missouri. What's real close along the river. The other side of the river is Kansas. But but they're planning on building an amphitheater there because you zip up to the airport in like 2 minutes and
zip. By the way, your buddy that lives in Bonner Springs that sang. I mean, we are the #1 podcast in Bonner Springs, Kansas, so he may hear us.
Get a shout out. There you go.
If it appears on his YouTube feed,
all right,
like and subscribe.
That's right.
All right, so
we're up to 71.
What we on 71
subscribers on our YouTube channel?
Oh, that's crazy. Forget about it.
We were like, our Facebook page is north of 300 people.
Is it?
Okay. Yep.
I don't know.
Has the Spotify moved up from one person?
Get on there.
Spotify is still one person. So
not even us. Not even us.
It's not even us. I uploaded.
That would be 3 minutes.
Somebody else.
Somebody had the Kansas Unites podcast before you did. They just didn't. Son of a.
Right. So you're up here in Kansas City.
Yeah. Moved to Kansas City, and I was up here for a year or so, maybe 2 years, and I was like, it'd be kind of fun. I didn't get out too terribly much. I was lucky enough and happy enough that I moved here in February of '93, so I got to get about a year's worth of Lone Star and The Shadow.
Gosh, right.
We had
Craig Hanning on at this last episode.
I can't wait to watch that. But
somebody else premieres tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow, and we talked about both of those. Yeah, Captain Craig.
Yeah.
What a great time to be in Kansas City. '93 was good. I know the '90s were great, man.
And I got just a little snippet of it, but I did get to see Typo Negative at the Lone Star, and it's pretty effing intimidating to go to the bathroom and have Peter Steele walk right out when you're there because he's he's like 6'7" or 6'8", and he wears the big.
And who is Peter? I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with. I'm assuming he's in the band.
Black. Typo Negative, he's a lead singer, but he's a monster.
And he's just like mingling, just walking around. I mean,
he had a very slow gait. You just
pick him out easy.
Very intense looking gentleman. But he's huge.
The Lone Star bathroom was a shithole, just like the rest of them.
Where was the Lone Star exactly?
On the, I think Buzzard Beach. It's next door to Buzzard Beach,
near Buzzard
on the corner.
Beach, right?
Oh, and is that
across from World Market now?
Isn't that
that's still there?
Wasn't that a dueling piano bar later or eventually?
It was.
It was also a Have a Nice Day cafe.
That's okay.
I remember there was a middle of the map thing where Gary Newman played that room. No, I think it was Gary. Is it Gary? Is that the name?
Cars.
Yes, that
Cars.
He was that guy. Yeah. And then the old Californios was on the other side of the foreman.
Yeah, interesting. It was a good time to be there. I know I missed a lot, but to see Peter Steele, and then the other show that jumps out at me is, and I don't even know why I was there really, but Yngwie Malmsteen was playing there, and just to see him off the side of the stage with like 14 bottles of Aquanet,
Did you
flip
see
his hair over and
Yngwie?
come back up, and then he'd come back out and,
if
snarl
you're gonna-
and rip
if you're
for a
gonna-
while. You're like,
if you're going to put hairspray on, you better lean over and do it upside down.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
That way it helps it covers some of his
volume,
ego, I
bro.
think. I've always heard he's
So you got to see Yngwie at the Lone Star.
Yes,
My
that was pretty
goodness
cool.
gracious. That had to have been remarkable.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Wow.
And the Shadow later became the Atlantis. didn't
America's
it?
Pub.
America's Pub. America's. Okay. Then what
It's
was
up
the
for-
old Atlantis? There was something across the street. I remember
Was that
being
like
to
the
a
dance club?
Yeah, I've been to that.
Used to be Fallout and
Wow.
That was
other
on.
stuff.
Okay.
That was on the other side of
The Comedy Club
Broadway.
used to be right up
Yes.
there as well.
yeah,
Wow.
Blazers.
The only place
Yeah.
I was familiar with
Yeah.
was
Like, in
America's
between
Pub, and then what was called the Atlantis at the time.
And Kelly's.
and
Which is always there, yes.
yeah, and that
Johnny Dare's bar was right in between those two for a while. Which that was
What was the name of John? I forget.
I can't remember what he called it. It was which exactly what you'd expect. Another, I just have like little stories of all these little things that are very funny. One of my favorite stories from the Johnny Dares. We were there one night. It'd only been open for a couple of weeks, so it was just always packed. And they had this upstairs was cool because they built like fake trailers, so it looked like a little white, trailer park kind of thing.
Sure.
I'm like, that's cool.
Johnny Dare, yeah.
But downstairs, there was just another big gentleman. He was just very drunk, and one of the bartenders came down. He was like, "Hey, bud, what can I get you?" And he's just like, getting his bob and weave, and he's just like, "Ugh." He looks over, and there's a trash can, and he digs around, and he pulls up like a bottle. He's like, "Ah." The guy's like, "All right, well, here you go." I'm like, you don't even need words, to order drinks. Some of these places. I'm like, okay.
Do you have a Johnny Dare story? Have you met Johnny Dare?
Yeah.
Okay.
I met Johnny several times.
Cool, dude. I've never met him. But
He's always nice. Always remembers me. So I dated a gal that worked at the gym that he used to go to. So I'd meet him there every now and then, or we'd go to work out, and he's always there. And then I'd see him at some other shows. And now one of my good friends, David Fritz. Don't tell him to say his name because I don't want people to know that I know him that well.
I think we
He's
owe,
a jerk.
we
You
owe
just gotta
money
say
for that. Oh, wow. Dang.
Yeah, I just got to throw it out there. But
I hope he hears it. then,
every now and then, Dave would invite me out to Rockfest, and we get to hang out backstage and stuff. And
all right.
God,
yeah.
and
hey, those were good days.
they were.
Rockfest.
And another funny, we were back there. This was the last one at the Speedway that they had, probably in 18 or 19. Mm-hmm. And I met Fritz out there. We're hanging out backstage, and a bunch of great bands. And LeJean and his wife come walking by, and super nice dude. I always loved that guy.
LeJean, lead singer of Seven Dust, who will be in. They'll be at the Truman in February.
Nice. I know he lives. He's lived in KC for a long time.
KC resident, sure.
But Fritz and I are always joking about just because at that time we both lived in the Foxfire Apartments, which is like 50th and Lamar.
Right, I remember those.
Oh, I used to live near that. Yeah.
Hey, I had the pimp little. It's the one bedroom, but it was like upstairs loft room.
I lived in Mission for many years.
Yeah, he's a Mission guy. Yeah, my
that's
parents
right.
lived in
Almost.
Mission.
How long was it? Almost 17 years. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yep.
But so we were talking to LeJean, but anyway, Fritz and I always joke about because we'd have like porch parties and like we call it Club Foxfire. What are we doing? Let's hit up Club Foxfire, see what's up. And so LeJean was talking to Fritz. He's like, dude, where you hang out these days? Where you go? And I was like, Club Foxfire. And the Fritz is like, no. And LeJean's, that sounds cool. We should go. And Fritz is like, shut up. Yeah. I'm like, sorry, I just thrown out there.
Yeah.
Did you were during that era of Westport in the 90s? Were you in bands that were regularly playing those places?
No, sadly. Okay. Like I said, that was early 93, 94. My first band was about 94, 95. Mm-hmm. And that was the old answer in the ad in the pitch days. So you had to answer it and go to some random house, like serial killer shows that show now. But,
right.
But yeah, so I met a couple bands. We never got to play there. Not until the late 90s when I was doing the
original
band
was that? Well, we're past. What band is that?
I don't know if any of those bands.
They're not. They didn't make that. Yeah.
Oh,
the first two bands I was in, and when I came to Kansas City, was with he was Carl Firm. Now he's Andy Von Widge. He played in Edge of Forever, the Skinner tribute band. That was played around a lot. Mm-hmm. amazing guitar player. But
no, that's a great band. That's a really good cover band.
They were great. But he was in the band. He and I, and then Bill Manson was our drummer for a while, which is where I first met Bill. Suburbans and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But our first band name was called Rights of War. We played a lot of Pantera, and just it was hilarious.
Kill it.
And then we changed the name to Electric Voodoo. That was our second name. Okay. That was back in the days when I can't remember who, one of your podcasts I was watching who was doing it, but we used to play the Nightlife Lounge there at Independence, and those were Tuesday to Saturday. You played 5 days. Which sucked for me because I had a 6 to 2:30 job, so I was there. I didn't get home until like 3, and then I was 25.
You
or
can
so,
do that at that point, but the idea.
It was
I got 3 hours of sleep last night, and you saw me. I was just like, or the night before, and I was just like worthless.
I got 4 hours on Wednesday night, and I'm still recovering a little bit. So I totally understand.
So you're traveling. You're on vacation right now, though. So.
That is correct.
Cheers to that.
Well, okay, so you live in Oklahoma City now, and I can't remember what do you do for a living?
I'm a document controller for a engineering construction firm.
And what does a document controller?
Document controller. Well, every project has whatever you're constructing or whatever, but they all have your data sheets and drawings and your blueprints and everything, and we. Engineers draw them up, and then they give them to us, and we kind of quality check real quick. We're just like the dot the I's, cross the T's and stuff, make sure everything's spelled right and looks right. I have no idea what's really on the drawing. I mean, you can see it, but I'm like, I have no idea. But then we take that, and then we put it in a package, and we send it, because we have like a field document control, and then they get them, and they'll put work packs together for the different crews on the job site, and they'll grab this to build this piece of it and this to build that
digital.
piece of it.
So, is this something you do?
A lot of it is now, but it's paper. When you get on a site, I mean, we were printing the big
rolling
plotter
those
with your hard hats on.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, when I moved from Kansas City in 2020, I took a field job. That's when I was in Texas. Worked on a wind farm for a year.
Oh my gosh!
And I did when I went to New Mexico. It was.
It's
13 mile
large scale.
section,
and you did live in New Mexico for a minute or two.
Yeah, a little over a year there, and we built a nuclear. It's part of a nuclear plant. We built what had happened about 15 years before I got there. There was a reaction, and they literally shut it down, and they closed it all off. And about 10 years later, they're like, we can go back in there. So we had to build. Our company was formed to build like a ventilation system for it. So, and it was underground, and we built all this cool stuff. So
wow.
But that's why we were there. So
did you go in there? Did you find any four-eyed?
I wasn't able to go down, but I did have to climb on the roof.
Hazmat suits. What part of New Mexico were you?
I was in Carlsbad.
And where's that in relation to Albuquerque?
It's 4 hours south.
So closer, actually toward El Paso.
El Paso, 2 hours north of El Paso.
That whole panhandle.
Las Cruces.
Las Cruces, right around the corner. Yeah.
Okay.
Alamogordo, White Sands.
Yeah.
Roswell. That was that's a fun little town. But.
Did you ever go there to do a tourist thing at Roswell? And
we did. Yep. Josh Costa came up, and we did the Roswell thing. It's pretty funny. It's goofy, but it's pretty cool.
They lean into the campiness of it, I'm assuming.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oddly enough, we're the #1 podcast in Roswell, New Mexico.
How do you think I heard about this? I'm like, I got to get back to Kansas City.
There you go. Thank you, Brian Rice. Appreciate you.
Boom, boom.
And were you? Did you karaoke at all while you're traveling? Did you get out and sing? Show your coworkers what you're made of?
Yeah, well, I did only one time in Texas. So I was in Denton, just north of Dallas, but that was in 2020. I mean, I was there for 6 months, and you couldn't go anywhere but a gas station and a grocery store.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So I couldn't do hardly anything.
What's that? Right. How did you manage? I mean, did you just go stir crazy?
I loved it.
You loved it?
It was phenomenal.
It was like just a zen thing to get away from all of it?
It was not. I didn't know anybody and didn't really get a chance to get out to really meet anybody except the folks you work with. But the thing about those construction sites is we're usually building something pretty big, and so there's nothing around it. It's always in the middle of nowhere. So it was a 35, 40-minute drive every day to get there and get back. But didn't know anybody, and that's when I really started getting into hiking and fishing. I bought a kayak, and so I got every weekend I'd go out and go find some park or something and do that. And Friday night I'd hit the liquor store, get my bottles or whatever, and I'd come home and I just I got some per diems were doing fairly well, so I can get some fun stuff to eat, and I just cook and drink and watch YouTube, and then it'd be like 3, 4 in the morning. I'm like, what am I doing? I got to go to bed. Then I get up and go hike and do whatever next day.
Are you still outdoorsy?
Yeah.
In Oklahoma?
Not as much, yeah.
There's
still checking it all out.
So I lived in Norman at Lake Dirty Bird, Lake Thunderbird. Used to go there.
Thunderbird, we've been around there.
Yeah, and drive by Toby Keith's property.
He's got a couple there.
Right, he's got a couple there.
Bricktown and one more.
And then I haven't been to these, but aren't there some like mountains or something?
Dude, Wichita Mountains are awesome.
Okay,
it's right by Lawton, Oklahoma.
Okay, all right.
And there's
Lawtown.
class. Yeah, it's you forget though that. Well, I didn't realize or kind of half forgot, but when you go out to the western Oklahoma by the Panhandle, there's Lubbock is out there, and there's some mountain ranges, and it's a complete different scenery. It's more like desert and stuff like in New Mexico. But I was like, this is still Oklahoma. It's just weird that it.
Oklahoma's a great state. I lived in Norman for a year.
So the Wichita
in
Mountains,
Oklahoma City.
how do they feel as mountains? I've never heard of them.
No, they're not. Not what you would ever think about. Yeah. They're like maybe
big
half
mountains.
or less. Yeah,
Big
mountain. Right. It's not a Colorado mountain scene. It's
right.
Sure.
Is it all red dirt?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, Jesus.
definitely all
Don't
red
walk
dirt.
barefoot around in that shit.
Don't
man.
drive a white car.
Right. Don't wear white socks. I don't know.
Yes, but there's a couple spots we head out to. So
yeah, that's great. I love Oklahoma. I have a buddy who lives in Moore, and I go down at least once a year. I go down there, and I used to live off 50th and North May in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
For about 3 years over in the hood, and
we are 50th and Western.
Okay, sure.
So yeah, I know where you go.
Yes.
We go to Sam's Club. We were at the Sam's Club there. It's like just north of 44. So it's because 44 is a weird. It kind of cuts through and it goes up. But anyway, and we were getting gas at Sam's Club, and there was a gentleman walking through the parking lot. Probably homeless, definitely talking to himself, and definitely carrying a ninja sword, just yelling, swipe it in the air. We're like, okay, this is good times.
And Oklahoma.
Good times. Right.
I mean, no offense.
It's the native people, I think that's what they call it.
Right. Native people. That's great.
Like a native Oklahoma, not a native American.
Right. Native people of Oklahoma.
I mean, it could
Person
be
of Oklahoma.
Yeah, could be a Native American as well.
It could.
No. Real quick. I mean, you're at Isham's Chicken in Okarche.
I have not yet, but we earlier discussed. Pittsburgh Chicken Annie's out. You just can't get any better than Southeast Kansas chicken.
You know what? Fair
Southeast
enough.
Kansas
Fair
chicken,
enough.
huh?
Yeah, people love Stroud's and stuff around here.
Sure.
It doesn't even hold a candle. It's just
To a place in Pittsburgh called
it's Chicken Annie's or Chicken Mary's.
Yeah, Chicken Annie's or Chicken Mary's.
I'll file that away.
That's good
The next time I'm down south that way.
You have to. It's a must.
Mm-hmm.
It really is a must.
I mean, he's a Manhattan townie. So,
Manhattan, Kansas, yes.
Yeah,
Kansas,
so I mean,
yes.
he gets it there.
My daughter went there her freshman year, so.
Oh yeah,
been
that's
there a time or
right.
two.
That's right. Where'd she go after that?
Well, again, pandemic kind of ruined all that, and so she ended up doing online stuff for a while, and now she's just kind of working as a vet tech and just doing classes as she has time just to kind of get that degree towards the end. But
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. I have a
She's still
buddy
giving it a
that's
go.
his daughter is a vet now, and that's a lot of schooling.
it is.
You
It
know?
is.
It's a lot of classes.
And a lot of hurt. She's always like, well, and I'm not a cat person. I'm allergic to cats.
Oh shit! Well, you're doing
And she-
well.
Right?
You're in the wrong house with the wrong people.
Well, that's
Clyde, the
that's
podcast
obvious
cat,
as well,
has not
but-
been down here at all. By the way,
Oh,
Have
he
you noticed
snuck
that?
off earlier. I saw him.
He sensed that you're
Okay.
not a cat person,
Yeah, he
so he's
sensed
giving you the
that.
space.
Right.
So he's giving you the
just-
I
space.
just I just put my cat to sleep.
He had two cats. The other cat.
One of them had a stroke, and so I had to put it to sleep. So this one is like weird. All week has been weird and clairvoyant.
Tried to adjust.
Yeah, trying to adjust.
Gotcha, yeah, but they have like literal giant oven mittens that they call their cat holders.
Oh man,
Because cats
Okay,
are
there you go.
notoriously very,
So
she'll
that's
come back with just giant scratches.
right
and
before we
Like, did
put
you
my
wear?
cat down, he bit me right there on my finger.
She lost a nail. She showed me. She was at the house earlier. At Mom's
Dang
house,
it.
came over today, and she's like, "My nail grew back." I'm like, "Well, that's lovely."
Hey.
So your daughter still lives in the Kansas
Young
City area.
people.
Yeah, she does.
Okay. That's great. Just a one kid?
Yep.
Good for you.
Right. One's enough. I don't need to mess anybody else up.
Sure. And how old is she?
24.
Okay.
I can't remember. Was she at the show this past summer? He seemed
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
She was there. She got up
At
and
Jerry's?
sings. Yeah.
She got up and sang.
She sang that?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I was
She does
pretty
Nirvana.
lit up
Her
with
favorite's
that.
Stone Temple Pilots, but she sings Nirvana.
You know, I mean, we'll get into the whole Seattle thing, but man, good stuff.
I like that we're talking about Oklahoma. You know, like this. The little. It's interesting to see to hear those details of somebody's life outside of the music. You know, and what's going on, what you're doing. You know,
it's very different. It's very different. I say once that pandemic hit and I got out of state, it's like life changed. And just another little side note as well. Like Josh Acosta does the same stuff. I mean, he's kind of like me. He's like, music's not drawing us that much anymore. Like he's just massive paddleboard guy. Like he gets in races and he went to Florida and does trips and all this kind of stuff.
Wow,
I'm like, good for you.
And Josh is the bass player in Seattle.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Go through the lineup. Who's the Seattle lineup here?
Right.
And here's the photo from June with his daughter.
See, I do not remember that whatsoever.
See, that's
and
a
I was
Seattle
up
show.
front the whole time.
That's a
I
Seattle show.
don't know.
Yeah. Josh Acosta is a bass player. Tony Torres is the guitar player, and then Phil.
Torres throws me off because he doesn't look Spanish. Torres, I keep thinking of Torres, but he doesn't look Hispanic. Josh,
Hey, we check the boxes. We get some discounts at places.
You know what? You guys do check boxes. That's for sure. That is for sure. We'll get into that. So yeah.
Well, how did you end up in Oklahoma again? Part of your job, or was it just a
So I moved KC to Texas to New Mexico for my jobs, and then while in New Mexico,
wasn't Louisiana on the docket at one point? I remember we didn't pan out. I remember a conversation we had about that.
I was originally going to go down to Lake Charles, Louisiana, which I was excited for, but they didn't want to pay me.
It's humid. It's real humid down
So I
there.
was
vaguely
everybody's
remember
like,
this
you
conversation.
should get this, and they were like, well. They tried to give me the sell about, but you're going to work 10-hour days, so you'll get overtime. I'm like, well, that doesn't help me make more money. I have to work hard. I don't need
You have to work longer to make the same amount.
Longer, hard. I'm like, that's right. Good. So, that fell through, and then ended up the Texas deal kind of fell in my lap, which was awesome. But
yeah. Right.
So,
Sounds like
I went to Texas to New Mexico. When I was in New Mexico, we had, that might have been I think it was our second final Seattle show.
How many final Seattle shows has there been?
We've had 3. But,
I love it.
It was first or second. But so I came back for that. It was we played on Black Friday in
that was 2021.
I think it was
No, there was definitely one you did on a Black Friday in 2021.
It was 21, because I was looping around. But and that's where I met my future wife there. So
she was at that show?
Yeah. And it turned because I'd never seen her before, and she was there, and then she was there with her best friends, which her best friends are literally next door neighbors to Tony and Joy Torres. And they've known them. They've been friends for, because they've been there for 10 or 15 years. And I never met them and never met her. They came out, that was the only show they've ever come out to see Seattle play, and happened to be that very
She picked
last
a good one then.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
So we were talking, and later kind of worked out where my old boss from my old company moved to a different one and got a hold of me, and they're like, hey, so when you want to come back to Kansas City and work? And I was like, well, I guess I can do it now. So I came back, and then she got an offer for her job. They're like, do you want to go to Oklahoma City? And she's like, sure. And I was like, I'm in, let's go.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's how we ended up there.
That's a good move.
And you're able to work remotely?
Well, you can a little bit, but they have an office down there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I get to sit in there with everybody. It's much smaller. I love it. It's not that massive one.
Well, I've seen your posts. You're an Oklahoma Sooner fan.
Oh yeah, it's
so I've seen you're an Oakland Raider or a Las Vegas Raider.
Vegas Raider, yes.
Man.
Oh yeah, you don't see his posts when the Raiders play the Chiefs. I've seen his posts.
It's true. And I don't even do that really anymore. And it's not because the Raiders are bad or nothing. It's just because
you get over it.
So many years, we're living in Kansas City because they're the rivalry enemies,
especially with the Mahomes era that everybody just ratcheted up.
Folks forget that the Raiders have beat them a few times. They're still bad, but they happen to win. But when the Raiders win, I post. I get hundreds of people going la la la, and then when they win, and then I get coming back. Yeah,
Chiefs fans.
It's one against many, so I'm like, just don't post. Call it good.
I feel like you relish it on some level.
Sometimes I don't post just because I can see people going. If he puts something out there.
That's that guy. There you go. I remember the Raiders from 83, 82, 83 with Marcus Allen in the Super Bowl run.
I have a
that was the Los Angeles Raider.
Yeah,
it was.
ooh, okay. All right.
I have a 1981 Oakland Raiders Super Bowl pennant. And I also have an 83 Los Angeles Raiders Super Bowl pennant in my room. They're very tiny. It's funny how times
nice. But you never lived out there
change.
or anything.
No. But
What was
I got to go to a game.
So you
Oh,
you never went to L.A. to try to make it big in the music. It was never part of your plan.
I kind of missed that. I knew a lot of, Captain Craig and,
yes,
David George, Black Mollies, and I ran
David George,
into Tori Stoffridgen not too long ago. I met him a time or two. I didn't know him. I think right as I started kind of going out a little bit, they had just kind of went out there, that kind of group of musicians from around here. And so I didn't know them that well, but I knew who they were. And we, a show here and there, but not much. But
a show here and there in L.A., you mean? Or?
No, I mean, just in Kansas City. Okay. Like they might be back in town or something to that effect,
Right.
And just happened to become, good friends with Captain Craig at a Jerry's Jam night, seems like everybody does.
How can you not become good friends?
The two touchstones that in our podcast, I think you are, what is this episode?
Oh, man.
This
is season 2, episode 3.
No, episode 4.
Episode 4 already?
This is season 2, episode 4.
Okay.
19 episodes total now.
Jeez.
Season 1 was 15 episodes, so you're the 19th episode. But the common theme when it comes to musicians and how they met is Jerry's Bait Shop, Jam Night,
I see that.
or Purple Jam. Tyson, Purple. Those are the two common denominators a lot of times.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, while we're at it, have you played a Purple Jam then or no?
We did the first 2 or 3.
You did? Okay.
I think just 2. And the only reason we did the first one, so we did
the Tyson Leslie's going away party in 2015.
So we did that one, and Tyson had called me, and he was like, hey, this is kind of random and odd, but because Seattle we had just gotten kind of back together to play shows and whatever. And Tyson, this is random, but do you think Seattle would want to get together and play a couple songs here?
Band?
And we were like, why not? So we played that one. And then the next year is when Cornell passed away. So we came back and did a couple of Soundgarden songs.
Okay.
I think that was about it.
All right. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
We are trying to be the new promoters of the next. Once Tyson's done promoting Purple Jam, it'll be
pick it up.
I had a phone call from an individual that wanted me to take over Purple Jam.
Okay,
but
why not?
That's as far. That's as far as I'll say. I don't. That's as far as I'll say. Except that we have interviewed this individual. I'll let you figure that out from there.
Okay.
The breadcrumbs from there.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
No. Well, he's doing Tyson's officially doing one more Purple Jam.
I remember him saying
7, the 7th Purple Jam, because Prince had that song 7.
Yeah.
I feel like that's I'm inferring that's the connection. Oh, Prince had that song 7. Let's do Purple Jam 7, and then we'll see where it happens after that.
There you go.
One thing I love is that we talk about Prince almost every
it's amazing
episode. We talk about Prince. It's great. I love it.
It is such an influential artist for sure. It's just nuts.
What was a big influential artist for you?
Yeah, you mentioned the 80s stuff, like any specific bands.
I like the singers. Of course, singers in the blazing guitar solos, like everybody else did growing up there. But my first favorite band was Kiss, of course, because the Destroyer was the first album we ever purchased, next to the Bee Gees and then Dolly Parton, all that stuff that my mom and dad always had.
Tammy Wynette.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Ray Stevens. I don't know if you guys own that one. The Streak.
The Streak.
Had to have that one.
Boogadab.
Yes.
Right.
But yeah, I was always a big fan of just Sebastian Bach. Most like the vocals and stuff.
He was just here too.
Yeah, I got to see him at the Hurricane.
Oh my gosh!
After when he come back through. Actually, I think it was a ride.
So at the Hurricane. This is not. It's with
it was after
Skid Row.
The Skid Row days. Yeah, but just him come through solo. He's still.
Hey, true.
He gets kind of gruff some points, but he still hits it every now and then.
It's hard to sing.
What to do that for that long?
What do you do being a singer? What do you do for your voice?
Not a thing.
Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing.
Goes to Jerry's and takes a deep breath. And then has a lot of
shot of Jaeger and let's go. Turn it up.
There you go. Whatever it takes.
Which, by the way, I don't know if he's ever said that, but Mole still can thank me for that. He had asked me one night. I'm like, just do a shot of Jaeger. Let's go. He's like, all right.
So he's our first bullet point.
And no, we've interviewed Mole was our season finale. Season one. Mole was our season one finale interview back in August, and I think we did talk about how he like replaced you directly in like 2 or 3 or 4.
I think there's 3. I was trying to think of the third one, but yeah, that guy's been riding my coattails for years, and I'm going to say that right now on camera.
I'm going to isolate this link and send it to him.
Oh, we will. That's
right.
Actually,
I'm surprised he's not upstairs coming down, going, all right.
He's the next interview after this.
Right. He's doing right.
Exactly.
Wouldn't that be something to have Phil? Because I wanted to have Phil with us, but.
Oh.
We haven't done. We've been wanting to do like an interview with 2 people, but it hasn't panned out yet. You know, because there's such a dynamic.
Phil and Mole here.
Yeah,
you wouldn't get a word in.
I know. That's why I have to sing in bands with guys like that. So.
Yes.
So
exactly.
I'm Sandler.
So yeah, the whole Seattle thing. Were you? The Seattle started probably what? Was that
2004?
Phil told us the story, yeah, because during our little spot interview out in front of Jerry's, he told us he went in, like he met you guys
he just
at
moved
a jam
from
night.
Chicago.
Yeah, he'd moved from Chicago, so
right, yes,
yeah. We and you know he's obviously played a lot, and we get up there and do some songs, and he would be like, "I know that one." We'd be like, "Well, come on up," you know, and we play. Although he did not know War Pigs, which I saw that was in your interview because we had to. Phil, which we still it's kind of funny because that was like our second song. Let's do War Pigs, Tony and Josh and I, and Phil's like, I don't know, and I was like, I gotcha. So we'd play, and I'd turn around and be like, you know, I'd give him the little cues, and he'd be like, oh, and I'd be like, no, do not make us look stupid.
You had to carry
been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah,
he had to carry Phil across the finish line on that one.
That's right.
I'll cut this one as a snippet.
He's a great guy.
How many people can Bill piss off tonight?
That's right. That's right.
Hey, okay. So far, it's like 3.
I'm burning all the bridges. Let's get this done.
Let's do this. Let's burn it down.
On his way back to Oklahoma City. Fuck all you guys.
That's
never
it.
be invited
I'm
back.
out of here.
Chiefs, man.
I'm out of here. Go Sooners.
There you go. Boomer Sooner.
I did live in Norman for a year.
Yes.
And so
I've
been to Sugars.
I have not been to Sugars.
Sugars is the strip club in downtown.
Got lucky on that one.
By the way.
We did go to, and this was after met the wife, because we went up there to look for apartments, you know, place to move. And I have a buddy that lives in Stillwater, a guy I grew up with in Pittsburgh. Known him since I was, 10 years old. He's been in Stillwater for a while, but he came and met us down there. And we ended up going to the Red Dog, which had the Netflix special.
Okay.
Which was a strip joint.
Oh,
because they had all kinds of nefarious biker gang and this and that. But we're like, we got to go check that out.
How was that?
It was actually kind of cool. I mean, it was unlike any other strip club that I'd been in.
Yeah,
it's a little bit different. So
but it was, strip clubs seem so quaint these days. Are they still a thing? I think with the rise of places like Twin Peaks, they kind of like negated the necessity of a strip club because you can kind of get the experience.
29-degree beers, you're good.
And get actual decent bar food.
Decent.
Twin Peaks might actually be more expensive though if you just want to go to a strip club. It might be a little cheaper. I don't know.
Maybe.
Interesting point.
Okay.
No, it's funny because I'll be driving you drive. When I go to St. Louis, I go visit buddies in St. Louis and see some bands out there regularly. And then you have the big billboards on the highway: "Find Jesus, save Jesus knows." And then the next thing, hey, there's an adult place right there, and you're sort of like,
let's go to that.
It's like. It's like, who goes to that? And there'll be like an adult place. No, I went to Warrensburg last week.
What is that place?
I went to Warrensburg to do some photos.
Shop.
To do some photos for a church. There was like a law case going on, and I went out there to take some site photos for them. And on my way to Warrensburg, I'm like driving, and then like right outside Warrensburg, there's this like old those old shed type buildings, the metal siding, and it's an adult club, and I'm just like, it's just so weird. Like, who goes to those in this day and age? It's so, it just seems so outdated and quaint,
Quaint. It's
quaint.
It's actually said.
I don't think anybody's ever thought they'd use the word quaint to describe a strip club.
I believe I've heard those two in the same sentence.
Right.
But I mean, like, you know, like if you go to Twin Peaks on a lingerie theme night, you're going to get most of the experience.
We got that going on. Hey, I need to, man, my nose all of a sudden is just, I'm running.
Do we need to take a short?
Yeah, I got a break,
we're about 50 minutes in, so we're going to take a short break and we'll resume.
Okay, thanks.
And we'll be back, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Kansas City Nights.
Kansas City.
I'll be right back.
Did you know Colette very well? Justin Colette?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're friends.
So,
yeah, we're buddies. Yeah.
I love that guy. He's so funny. Like, I mean, you can record that, but it's I mean, because we played, when we were doing our original thing, we were Shiver, we played the Hurricane, and he was with C Strings, which was him and Scotty and Guy, I believe. Met him that night, and that's when I first started going to Jerry's, and he was doing the jam night.
About 04, 2000?
Yeah, 03, 04. And yeah. I went in there night. Wearing one of my old Shiver shirts, you know, and the thing I love about Colette, he's one of those folks, it's just always going. And when he's talking to you, he's already thinking about his next conversation down here. He's like, he looks through and he's just like, yeah. And I was there and he walks up and I had like an old Shiver shirt. And it was a Shiver shirt that we had, the second one said Shiver, and then we had each of our pictures, you know, like halfway through. And he's like, oh man, that's a great band. I'm like, yeah. And he just like, cool. And he walked on. I was like, you know, this one's me out there.
The left nipple. So Shiver is one of your bands as well?
That was the original one
here. I think you just went with.
I just did the cover stuff.
He just listed all his cover stuff on our sheet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? We got to go through these then, for gosh sakes.
No, I want to talk about all the stuff that's not on the sheet.
No, I don't know. Right? You know, really, let's talk about Nine Finger Nun. Just real quick.
Okay.
Why the nun? Why the nun? Why the name?
I think we talked about it with Mole, but I don't remember the detail.
Did we talk about that?
I don't even. They kind of kept it on a, you know, because again, I met Mike Beard at Jerry's just to jam night and that kind of stuff, and we played Michael Beard, and he was like, "Hey man, you know, our singer left. He's like, you want to do it?" And I was like, I'm kind of busy and this and that, and he asked again. He's like, well, you just want to fill in for a few shows? And I was like, I can do that. So I go over there, and that's when, you know, I met the second Mr. KCDC, I guess, John Haas, because he was in Nine Finger Nun. But they never, I don't think I ever got the name on where it came from. And I think I only ended up doing like 4 or 5 shows over like 6 months. Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
It was close. It was fun.
9 finger, 8 finger.
What kind of music was that band again?
They were, well, most bands through that time have 40 songs they play, and about 10 or 12 are the same for every band around there. So,
well,
sounds like it, you know, Buck Cherry and kind of 2000s, 90s.
Did you sing some Buck Cherry?
Yes.
That's good stuff. Crazy bitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
You sound very. Yes.
Yeah. No,
the funnest time I had singing Buck Cherry, we would do Crazy Bitch, and it was a band called On the Fly, and it was Josh and Tony and Tommy Sprague, St. John, and I. We played at Depot Number 9 in the Ameristar. And
I remember that.
We couldn't drink, you couldn't curse, you couldn't do all the stuff. And I'm like,
it was an electric drum kit.
Yeah, electric drum kit. Yeah, tiny thing. And we're like, well, crazy. But I mean, the girls dance to it, so it's fun. Sure. We're like, we're doing it. So it's, hey, yo, top. And just it was hilarious, you know. But you know, everybody in the fact just screaming the names.
The girls love that shit.
Why did we not even?
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny.
You just say you're a crazy bit.
Oh,
that's too close. I'd totally slip because you know,
crazy booch.
Yeah, we'd play 8 to midnight, and then we'd have 2 breaks or 3 breaks, and we'd be like, all right, cool, thanks. Then we'd run to the casino and pound a beer and a shot and run back in and play another set and call it good. So. I mean, you can't have a rock and roll show
without profanity.
Yeah, profanity.
Some level of inappropriateness.
Profanity.
When Seattle first started, I was because I've never been a big curse word guy, you know. I still don't curse around my mother because it just, I don't know, it's weird. And my brother's like every other word, and I'm like, how do you? I'll just let him go. But I never did. And then we get to Seattle playing some shows, and I don't know, just get on that stage sometimes, you just forget.
Hey, you know,
and it was just pretty bad. At one point, they're like, you don't have to say it all the time. Fine. I'll change.
We need to talk about my favorite Seattle moment. You guys were actually, it was the Zeros opening for you guys in the early 2000s or mid 2000s at the Red Room. It was over the
Revolver.
Red Revolver.
Revolver, because
over off in Overland Park.
Troy, he owns the other place, and he opened up Revolver, and we used to play there.
All right,
where was that at?
It's next door. So you know where it's OP, and they had the Red Room there for a while.
No, I'm not familiar.
So
with
the
that
Red
place.
Room. Well, Jessica Miller ran the Red Room. She was a bartender there,
Jessica Miller,
and now she
from
runs
Murphy's Corner.
Yeah, Murphy's Corner now.
That Jessica Miller.
Miller.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never even put that together.
Yes. So she worked at it was the Red Room, which was like a little side. They had it was a smaller place, but they did.
Like what intersection was it at? That's where
it's downtown OP, 80th and
where
between Metcalf and.
Adjacent to the other place.
Market is.
Oh, that
right
little. I thought that was like an event space they would just open up.
Well, so the back of it is the farmer's market.
Yeah. Okay. I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah, Troy owned that whole building, and he had the OP, and then he had the Red Room for a little bit, but for a short period, it was only open for a couple of years. The very last building on the end, named it Revolver. And we played there often. Now, we did not open.
Is that the place that Tyson Leslie managed to?
No, it was Demer Outhouse opened for you. Brad Gaddy was there.
Brad Gaddy was there. Yeah,
he was lit up that night.
He almost got kicked out because he kept trying to swing from the lights.
He did, and he kept slam his hand on the cymbal.
Yeah, he was having
a fucking break your hand.
He was having a blast. But it was just us playing all night. They might have played somewhere else, but I know they came in. And I was like, hey,
that was it. That was it.
I did get to see Outhouse open for Kiss in Topeka in
I was there for that. I was there for that.
Yep.
Legendary show.
Fuck.
Was it at the Kansas Amphitheater or whatever?
Center.
The Expo Center.
Mm-hmm. You drove past the
in
crazies with the signs.
In 1997, I saw Cheap Trick open for Motley Crue in November of 97.
Nice.
Hey, look, Cheap Trick is always a good time.
Yeah. I agree. And for a guy who played in a Motley Crue tribute band, I've never seen him.
You've never seen Motley Crue live?
I've met Motley
I'm going to
Crue.
pass now.
I've met Motley Crue, by the way.
Oh, really?
I think that might have been the only time I saw Motley was at the Expo Center in Topeka in 97.
Right on.
Man, I've seen Motley Crue. We're bros, dog.
I saw it with Keith and his late brother Curtis.
What?
Keith Euling and his late brother Curtis. We were there at the Expo Center.
Oh, okay. For Motley Crue.
Cheap Trick and Motley Crue.
How was the trim that night?
No, that's an inside joke with our buddy.
Sorry.
With our buddy Keith.
Yeah.
Cheap Trick did not play the Flame that night, which was a disappointment.
Tonight's podcast.
I saw Cheap Trick at the Spirit Fest in 2001, and they did play the Flame.
They're a great band. They're really good. They're really good.
I think they went through a phase where they hated the Flame because the record company forced it on them.
I could not imagine,
So they wouldn't play it live, but then they were like, fuck it, fine. Everybody wants to hear it, so they started playing it.
Jesus, if all 80,000 are going to scream for it, fine.
It's like Simple Minds refusing to play Don't You Forget About Me.
See, now,
because that wasn't their song. That was for, like Simple Minds. Don't You Forget About Me.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Billy Idol did that song. They gave it to Billy. He actually sang it, but then he passed on it, and then then the record company dropped it into Simple Minds' lap.
That's good.
And that became their biggest hit. But then they wouldn't play it at their shows because they resented it because they didn't write it.
Right.
And then they lightened up and finally. So this kind of, there was that point. Anyway, that's an aside.
Yes.
Little trivia. Little trivia for the listeners out there.
I do like that.
For our
yes,
trivia.
Shannon, you were getting ready to say.
I don't know what I was going to talk about.
You said you and I were
we had
bonded at the hip for some reason.
We had mullets that were permed.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
We were at some concert. We weren't, though.
No,
never
we were
mind.
probably at several same concerts.
Sure, I'm sure of it. I have a lot of my concert ticket stubs, by the way.
I used to, when I had all my CDs, which I was going to mention earlier, 'cause it's kind of funny. We're trying to find how Brian can find a picture like that because they're all in order. Like twice a year, I take my CD collection, which is a couple of hundred, and I'd change it up. I go, let's do alphabetical order this weekend, so all the way down. But I take all the ticket stubs and I put them in the back of the jacket.
Oh, nice. Okay.
For the longest time. And then after about 5 times of moving that giant, stupid CD thing, I'm like, you know what? That's good.
Right.
iPod time.
I have a photo album of my
nice.
ticket stubs. You know, the little
That's very cool. Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
She'll lock them in there.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
Yes.
Brian Rice.
What?
What are we doing? Where are we at?
Oh no! While you went up to blow your nose, we were talking about football. Texas and Georgia have just gone into overtime in the SEC championship.
Oh, nice.
Which I'm sure our podcast listeners really need to know.
Absolutely. You know what I find interesting about this year, which is great because I heard it earlier this week, is that all the major conferences could have a newcomer to the conference win the title.
That'd be great.
Which is, I find awesome.
That'd
And
be
I think
great.
it's hilarious.
Arizona State won the Big 12 conference.
Oregon could win the Big 10. Texas could win the SEC, which I love that because, you know,
The
that's
first
getting
year,
Mizzou
or second
fan,
year.
SEC,
Yeah.
whatever. It's football conference.
Right.
But yes.
And
I think that's
OU
awesome.
beat Alabama just last week,
do
2
not-
weeks ago.
Wow.
Man,
That was their
a big
Super
deal.
Bowl.
That's big news. Yeah, that was their Super Bowl.
I had a buddy. He's a big Mizzou fan, and we always text back and forth, and we both almost at the same time last week. It's like Alabama beat Mizzou 30-0. Mizzou beat Oklahoma 31-24. It was a weird ass game, and then Oklahoma beats Alabama 24-3. I'm like, how do you put those together?
Yeah, right. In the BCS or whatever they call it nowadays.
Right.
Yeah.
The college football playoff.
CFP.
Yeah.
No.
The CFP.
Yes. Yeah. So
All right. What other bands? I mean, before we get to Seattle, still,
Right.
I don't know.
It's just the longest. So, the original bands. So I met Brett Boulay.
in the
band-
90s. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. As it's kind of funny because I answered ad in the pitch, and I used to play in the band Electric Voodoo with Carl Firm, and then John Caldwell played bass, and then Bill Manson was our drummer, and we played this.
And that was an original band.
No, just covers. We were just covers. But
And what kind of covers were you doing? Was it
like I said, we played in it's just 80s kind of hair metal ish, and then we played some heavier stuff. We played Pantera and just some Sabotage, which was so much fun to play and sing because everybody's like, "What
good
the
band.
hell is that?"
Yeah, it's a good band.
But you got to be a metalhead to like that stuff. But
Sure.
Sabotage being the Beastie Boys? Not the Beastie Boys song, but a band
it's
called
a
Sabotage.
band,
yeah. Hall of the Mountain King. Anybody?
You said Sabotage, I
Okay.
immediately thought of the Beastie Boys song. So,
I believe it's two of the members of Sabotage are the Trans-Siberian Orchestra dudes.
Oh,
Guitar
really?
players.
Hey, they're in town
Yes.
right
This
now.
is-
It's
no, yeah, they
full
do.
of trivia.
They always do a
Remnant.
residency at T-Mobile
Oh, yeah.
every year.
And it's always around Christmas, which
Yeah.
I find like because they play the world, and they end up in Kansas City like Christmas time all the
every
time.
time. Every time.
That's kind of cool if you ask me.
Because we're good people.
Good
we
folks.
like rock.
Right, as long as they're not Chiefs fans or MU or KU.
Hey, wow. Raiders.
I hadn't burned a bridge in about 10 minutes, so I
Right,
thought I'd
sure.
throw that out there.
Yeah, good.
In case the bridge hadn't been burned out enough, that final ember needed to be
It did.
restoked.
It looked like it was still smoldering, so
That's what I like about you. You don't give a fuck what people think about you.
it's fine.
You don't
What do
care.
do?
Somebody
What do you
resents
do?
you, you're just like, whatever.
Hey, especially on stage, man.
No,
People
no.
like me. I got people skills, damn it.
You
know,
do.
no.
That's The Office.
You do.
There's a power. There's a power in not giving a shit what people think about you. And I don't have
There
that
is.
power, so I respect
You need to
it when
get
I
that
see it in
power.
others, and I see that in
fine.
you.
You
Like,
gain that power.
somebody else, I don't care. All right,
I appreciate that. I really don't think that way, but at some points I'm just like, what are you gonna do? Well, this is kind of me. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Luckily, most folks do like or put up with me, so that's fine.
They do, and
My
again,
shenanigans.
when you're on stage, man, you got a great presence. I mean, it's
a different persona.
when I
sure.
see Seattle, it's a '90s feel, and I dress '90s for it. I
have to.
when
You have
this
to, you know.
last deal, Jerry's, I
Back in
had
June.
my Nirvana, my red Nirvana T-shirt,
Right,
on.
the one that you probably can't get at Target.
Right.
Which is a
Exactly.
sure sign that you've heard of
It
the
was
band
Hot
before.
Topic, that shit.
So that is
But
right.
it's good. I mean, you really, you guys.
That's the only time. Like I told myself a long time ago, because I had been to when I first started. I only been to a couple bands, because I'm always a pretty shy person. Like any job, I'm like I just sit there and just work, and people have to talk to me first. And I'm still like that in most spots, But I told myself a long time ago that I go watch bands, and I'm just like, because you're out there and you're like, I can do that. I can do that. Then I'm like, you know what? God, if I get up on stage, then just do it. Don't think about it. Just go do it.
Yeah,
So then I just
do it.
So I get up there. I'm like, well, this is my little area right now, and I'm just gonna do what I want to do.
How is it nowadays?
How's that?
Getting up on stage. How are you afterwards?
Oh, well,
when you give 100%, I know that. I know that.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be that bad. But I at this point where I play a show like every 1 or year and a half, so I can't talk the next day for sure. Because Because literally, like the 40-year-old virgin said, it's true. If you don't use it, you will lose it. So it's very true.
Yeah. And again, you're not using any electrolytes or...
No, I do not. I mean, I probably should, but I don't. There's no vocal exercises. I don't.
Right.
You don't do the thing.
I don't do the mole.
You don't not talk to people, but there are specific musicians that I know of, or singers. There's specific singers. Don't talk to them. They won't talk. And it's like, wow, what's up with that? It kind of is like
that is the worst thing for you. But
it's like no, they're not being pretentious. They're not being holier than thou. It's like they're preserving their voice for when they need to sing later. They're not being an ass. That's a thing. It's a necessary thing for them to not talk.
Yes, we had a show at the Grand Emporium a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
Jim Kilroy had booked it. And it was right at the Grand Emporium. It was 11 or 11:30. It turned into a gay club. So it was right at that time where it was starting to be a dance club. But it was a gay club at night. But we were playing, and they had a
You mean that literally, not like in the lame way, not in the South Park lame way of
literal,
the word.
Yeah, it's like they would take off the... Because the old Grand Emporium had all those cool
the feathers would come out, and the parade.
They would drop the rainbows and stuff, and...
Why it's got to be that?
Which is it's fun. I mean,
it is what it is.
It's
not criticizing it.
I used to love to go to the Edge, which was an early '90s bar downtown.
Yeah, sure. No, is that a rave place?
Yeah,
I've been there.
They had like one huge bathroom, and it's like there's not a men's and women's. It's just like that's the bathroom.
I never heard anybody mention that before.
Yeah, that was fun.
I've been there.
It's my early 20s, and so it was just fun just to hang out.
That was like a warehouse deal.
Yeah, and that's the owner ended up getting shot from somebody was on the street and fired off a random shot, and it went through his office window and got him in the office. It shut down after that, but it was crazy.
Where was this at again?
The Edge was downtown. 8th and something.
It was a big warehouse building.
There's a parking lot, and you go up some stairs, and it's kind of in there.
8th Street downtown.
One wall was windows. It's somewhere around there. 8th, 7th.
It was a trip. It was a trip.
I'd have to look it up.
And this was in the early 90s.
Yeah. It had been there for a while before.
Early 90s.
Yeah, I was there, like I said, 93, 4.
Gosh.
Downtown's changed a lot since 93,
It could still be there.
I mean, I think I remember, like, the big thing is, like, here's some trivia, folks. Around 2004, 2005, the total population of people who lived full-time downtown, fewer than 5,000 people lived in the lofts downtown in the River Market area.
Yeah, that was
today. It's north of 20,000.
I bet.
North of 20,000. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Mass transportation.
Oh yeah, it's just become a thing, and I just
it's a big thing.
And I remember like seeing some. We went to a haunted house in like 2003. Me and my cousins and my brother, and I think about that, and I think that's where the Alamo Theater is now.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, because that's how much stuff that was pre any of that.
Yeah.
It's just funny to think of what they've done. They've really done some work downtown in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And you live in Norman. Is that what you said?
Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And
it's north of downtown.
All right, just a regular neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah, just off of it's between Western and 235. So it's an awesome little spot. We're 5 minutes from downtown, 5 minutes from work.
The fairground right over there?
Yeah, that's
the zoo and the Remington Race Park, the track, casino racetrack, and the Capitol's right there too. So
it is. Yeah, okay.
It's very nice. Yeah. And sorry, I feel like Jim Erman right now. I watched that one too. He's like, oh yeah, sorry. Just to get back to
Hey,
well, it's hard to get that guy to stop talking to.
We like that. We like it when people stop. We like it when people don't stop talking because it makes it easier for us.
You're like, and record.
Yeah,
it makes it easier for us.
But just speaking of some singers are weird. Like I said, that show at the Grand Emporium was us and a Rush tribute band. I can't remember their name. I can't stand Rush, that's for Scotty.
You and me both.
Yeah,
I don't.
No,
I mean,
what?
it's not that I don't.
What?
I can't.
Terrible.
It's not that I can't stand Rush. I don't
man.
get the obsession with
I
Rush.
don't either.
That's my
It's
thing.
weird. My brother's a
progressive
YouTuber.
But it's so funny how like,
guys.
and I, you know, like you said, Kiss was one of your bands.
Unbelievable.
Whenever I talk to musicians, it's always Kiss and or Rush as their
Yeah.
big thing.
Well, and I guess
AC/DC.
probably that's where you separate your musicians from your performers. To be honest, I mean, that's kind of what it is.
Okay, yeah.
That's a
Obviously,
great.
Kiss being musicians and then Rush being posers. I mean,
There you go.
Wait.
Man.
but anyway,
what
so
was it?
the guy that played Geddy played bass and sang for him. We were next door at was it the Bronx Pizza Joint that's right there next door to it, to the Grand Emporium back then on Main.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were in there and just before show, so we're all eating, getting pizza, and we're like all just kind of chatting. I was like, "Hey man, you gotta jump in and get some pizza." He's like, "Oh no, I don't eat dairy on the day of a show." And I was
my
like,
God.
"That's weird."
I see a
strange.
fight, a band
Like,
fight happening.
I was like, "This is
all
why
of a
people
sudden.
don't like Rush."
Right,
anyway.
right. Was that the original De Bronx?
I think it
Over
might have
there?
been.
Yeah.
Well, there's still-
There's one on
pizza place.
39th. I
I thought
maybe
always
that was
thought the
it.
39th
Well,
Street
yeah.
one
That
was
might
the
be it.
the Bronx,
39
but then there's a piece.
is-
There's a place on Main Street next to the Grand Emporia, wherever that was. It is that. Am I confusing?
It's
Dave?
like
Is that town?
39th and Main. That's south of that, but yeah, it's
Okay.
right there. But yeah, that was a little. I think it was the Bronx Pizza right next door to it, and that's
Okay,
Good.
all right.
Yeah. Right.
I'm not immersed enough with that era of Kansas City. I moved to Kansas City in '99.
It's a lot of brings.
and I missed. And as I've talked to people over time, and I say this all the time. I realize I missed so much moving as late as I did, and I really didn't start meeting people until I started doing the photography.
How old were you when you got here then?
99, I would have been 26. So I'm 50. I'm going to be 52 in about a month.
Holy Jesus! You're
I'll be
old.
52
We're all the
in a
same age.
month.
Christ.
But I moved to Kansas City in May of '99, and maybe went to a place once or twice, and then I didn't like the photography thing. For me, didn't really start until late 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And that's when I started meeting everybody. And then I started hearing the stories like, "Oh man, you should have been here in the '90s at Westport."
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It sounds like this like legendary like the Summer of Love. What the Summer of Love in San Francisco in 1967
Exactly
was
what you're
is what
describing.
Westport was in the
I heard the-
'90s.
I heard the same thing when I got here in 93, 94. Like, oh, you should have been here. And when
Yes. Oh man.
Do it.
There was, no, this is a quote. This is a
90s
quote.
songs.
This is a quote. There was an energy, man. There was an energy.
Oh, hey.
It's like,
of course there is.
you know.
that sounds like a Keith Sarah quote.
No, that was Trey DeBose of Perpetual Change. Who said that to me?
Yeah, we need to interview him.
Pogos.
Interview him.
Pogos, and we got to get Trey, you know.
There you go.
So, let's talk about Seattle. Let's finish this off with Seattle. I love Bill Creighton. He is
It's fine.
great, funny guy. How is it jam with him? Just
He is, you see a lot of reels nowadays on Facebook, which are the funny stuff, 10, 50 seconds. It's great. I love it. But Phil is that drummer that sets up at practice, and you're trying to sound check out stuff, and he just won't stop hitting shit. And you're just like, Phil, just give us 30 seconds, please. What? Oh, yeah.
right. Oh, sure.
And then something shiny
Shit,
catches
shit.
eye. Oh, and he gets that too. No, he's awesome. We all got along so well. It was amazing. Another good friend of ours, Daniel Green, who met him. He played in a band called Dora Dank. This is our original days. Josh and Tony were in Soulless. I was myself and Brett Boulay. We were in Shiver. And then I said Phil just kind of moved in, and we had all kind of started to get away from the original band a little bit. And we met Phil there at Jerry's Jam Night, and we'd start going there and hanging out. But Daniel always called us Seattle. He's like, you guys are like the Motley Crue of grunge, and we're like,
Oh,
Yeah, we are.
what? Great.
we
Yeah,
literally
that's
were
impressive.
just the bad.
sure,
I mean,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
some bars.
Well,
where like,
tell me a bit about that transition from you're playing original music. And I'm assuming the reason that you're playing original music is because you wanted to make it or to do something on your own terms in your own name.
gotta give it a shot,
Right.
I mean, why not?
And what kind of music were you writing? Like, what kind of genre would you classify that original
we
stuff as?
that's kind of fine too, because our guitarist at the time, his name was Jason Noakes, and I actually grew up with him in Pittsburgh, Kansas. We had lost a guitar player previously, and I was like, oh, my buddy
I know a
Jason
guy.
still lives here. He lives in Gardner, and I know a guy. So he came out, and it worked out. Like I said, we were together for like 3 or 4 years, and he is a huge marketing guy. So he always called us. Because like back then, that's when emo started, and they all started getting these little acronyms for all your different, you got to be a different type of genre, and you're like, that's just rock. Right. But he called us. He tried to get RABA rock going, which is raw bar rock, which is really what we were. We're just like, almost like an old school kind of AC, just open kind of sloppy Jimmy Page, AC/DC chords, and
it's great.
Not that kind of music, but we only did one album. We did okay. It got around a little bit. We got to go to Denver to play this. We were selected as one of the top 25 bands in America. Jim Beam did a thing. We were one of the 5 bands from the Midwest, and they just flew us out to Denver to play. But one of the, I guess, what folks who, like a reviewer, did a review on our album, and he said something about it was like a lot of raw energy, and it said the singer sounds like a Bon Jovi with a 5 o'clock shadow. And I was like, all right, there you go.
Well,
I'm not sure exactly
so you recorded it. You had an album recorded and that you had out there, not just a bunch of
Is this accessible? I
mean, Jason has all that stuff. He's got a Shiver page on Facebook, and he's got it all. You can still,
you can still this was late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, '98 to 2001 or 2 is when we played. So.
Mm-hmm. So
it's fun, and also another plug. That's where I introduced Brett Boulay to his wife Kelly. So they.
You're the reason. Oh wow,
that's me.
I love them both. I know them both.
Yeah, it'd be great.
And I knew Kelly before Brett, so
it'd be great to have Brett on. I've given her our business card.
I would agree. You did have Sorrow on, so Brad Gaddy. So I think too many bass players probably not good for them.
Thank you, by the way, for looking at our library
it's very fun.
Podcasts.
I just watch it to make sure my name isn't defamed.
The format, they understand the format of what you're expecting to walk into. Because I think this is a bit different of a format of a show than a lot of other places do. Like my goal is I like to get down beyond I like the music, but like talking about New Mexico and Oklahoma City and what you're doing for your.
Never know what you're going to learn.
Right.
I like that.
Exactly.
The red dirt of Oklahoma.
Red dirt of Oklahoma.
Which I really didn't even know before I went down there. I knew it was in Alabama.
I did a job.
I've been down there.
Yeah. I've never known. Real quick. I'm sorry. Just, I don't know. What kind of microphone do you use? Do you have
I'm always a Shure 58. That's the only rock. It's the only rock.
Okay, it's our time to bring up Adam Lavella of Shure Microphones.
There we go. Thank you.
Shure
I prefer the Beta myself, but yeah. Beta 58 was always my go-to. And you can tell because I lost the blue rubber band like that.
Okay.
Put it on the mic because I'm always just doing stuff, and it's like, I lost another rubber band on there.
You're a mobile singer.
Yes, which is another reason why I never really wanted to play a instrument, so to speak. I mean, I like to play just a goof, but because I didn't want to get stuck behind a microphone with a guitar. You couldn't. I like to move around, and Lord knows where I'll end up.
Well, it works really well for you guys. It does.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I enjoy.
Sure, yeah. Get back like Seattle and Phil. That was always fun. For the longest time, Phil's a great dude. I had known Tony and Josh for several years before that from our original band days. We played the same shows, which is always like completely different clubs than any, cover bars that we do. So, which is always funny because we played some interesting spots.
Well, let's talk about that. What's your favorite bar to play at?
To play at? Well, I mean, gosh, that depends. Jerry's is always one of the funnest.
Sure. Yeah.
It's also kind of a pain because the stage is very small and, but you get, it's a small spot, so everybody gets there. But I love what I really like about Jerry's, and which is why we worked so well, I believe, because we're a cover tribute band or whatever, but we played everything like an original. I mean, we played a little different. Everybody had their own little taste and flavor, but we played it like a rock show. I mean, that's why.
Yes,
I think it's one of the reasons why we were never as big as a lot of other cover bands around town because we just didn't play dance stuff. I mean, ladies aren't going to come out to see us because they're dancing.
No.
We're the guy next to you going,
I wouldn't even say you guys are a cover tribute band. band. You're Seattle.
Yeah, it's kind of true. We've kind of gotten that. Yeah, dude. But we play everything a little heavier, maybe a little faster.
There's a market for that. There's a following for that kind of music. Yeah, there definitely is. Versus, well, it's like in a space where as my ex-girlfriend would say, the same 5 bands playing the same 5 venues playing the same 20 songs. To be able to get into this kind of genre is refreshing.
Right. It is.
It is. We always thought that, but it's probably a good and bad thing. But there's been one other band that's tried to do or has played, grunge cover songs like we do, but it didn't last long, and like nobody else has ever tried to do it that I know of. They'll do a song here and there, but they're still going to go back and play Crazy Bitch.
They're not. Yeah, sure.
And there's like,
okay,
we never did that. We just did weird stuff.
But no, you're Seattle. You're dedicated.
Yeah.
And
maybe it's a slightly different, but one of my favorite Seattle shows was we did in the early days of us getting going. Jerry's bait shop would do. It was in July. It wasn't a Chili Fest weekend, but it was like a week close to it.
Jesus.
But they blocked off the parking lot, and Guitar Source put up a big stage. And that's when Colette and Jim Kelly were running it, and we got to play one of the first shows. It was us, National Fire Theory, which is Doug
Is this
Nelson
the one out in Lee Summit?
No, this is still in Lenexa. Yeah.
Okay, good. You mentioned John Kelly,
yeah, because he broke off and did the Lee Summit one, but we played there. And it was so funny because we'd probably been together for a year playing shows, and that's like I said, that's again when I was just dropping the F-bomb left and right, and just acted a fool. I mean, having a good time. Folks like it.
You keep doing that.
But it was kind of a family, and everybody's out there, and we're getting ready to go on stage, and Justin Colette comes. He's like, "You guys ready to rock?" And we're like, "Yeah, woohoo!" And he's like, "All right, man." He's like, "Just do you." And back then, we used to end every show with "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and I would jump over, I'd dive into Phil's drums, and he'd be like, "God damn it," and we knock stuff up. I mean, just a grunge experience.
Yeah.
But they backlined that show, and so we were all talking. I'm like, "Oh," I go, "Should we do it?" And he's like, "Oh, you guys got to do it. You guys got to do it." We're like, "All right." So we play, and we're Teen Spirit, and we just kind of play, and the blast of the song's just like, and Tony takes his guitar and he takes it off and he drops it from his shoulder. Because we get in the moment. He drops on his shoulder. He's like, bam, and it goes wham, and it cracked the neck on his guitar. And I turn around and I dive into Phil, and Phil's on his drum set, and we're on like a big trailer, and he's got about a foot behind him. He's like, he goes, "No!" And I'm like, "Too late!" I go in there and kick over the drum cymbal stand, and he catches
drop,
me.
Right? Oh my gosh.
3 for sure, 3 to 4.
Okay.
So he catches me, and I fall down, and then Josh is kind of hit his, he's like, gong, just lets it ring out and sits up against, and it's just chaos on the stage for a second. We get off, we're like, we're laughing. It's such a great time. He's like, "That's awesome." And these 2 dudes from Guitar Source comes flying over. "Who said you could jump in there? You're going to pay for this." This guy, we're just like, "Well, sorry. If it's broke, we'll talk about it."
Guitar Source.
They were so mad at us. So mad.
So those weren't your instruments?
No, they're backline. Well, it was Tony's guitar. The drums were backline. It was our guitars. But they weren't our drums. He was very upset.
So what ended up happening then?
Nothing.
You didn't end up paying for it?
A rock and roll show happened, and they all got to witness
rock
it.
and roll.
But you didn't have to.
We didn't have. There was no comeuppance.
Good for you. Way to fight the establishment.
Speaking of John Kelly, he runs a bar called the Oak Grove in
I've seen him forever.
In is it the Oak Tavern in Oak Grove, Missouri?
Okay.
And I stopped there a couple months ago and had a pizza, and it's like delicious, exactly the same as Jerry's bait shop pizza.
Which was the old pyramid pizza recipe. That's what they copied it from.
That's what it is.
Oh shit!
That's right.
Don't tell anybody.
Recipes. Yeah,
that's true.
Well, I remember pyramid pizza from Manhattan. That was one of our favorite places in Manhattan, Kansas.
Back at Kelly's in Westport too.
Yes, I did not realize. Now that you say it, then I recognize the
crust with the
lineage. The lineage.
yes.
The lineage is obvious.
Awesome.
I never connected that to Jerry's. That's why I like their pizza so much.
There you go.
Because it connected to
Have yourself
pyramid.
a slice then.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe on a Friday I'll go there for their pizza buffet day.
It's so good. It really is.
I was there last night, which was Friday.
Yes,
this is true.
We're recording this on a Saturday.
Right. Yeah, and I saw who did I see? Pastimes.
Oh,
last night. They were really good. They're really good, man. Yeah.
Right on. I like that.
We'll review. Let's
Where
look
we at?
at the
Where we
list.
at in time?
I didn't print this
How
for
are we at?
nothing.
I need to take pictures
we're
of
getting
you
there, but,
guys. I need to take pictures of you guys.
No, these are interesting questions because we haven't even gotten to this. Like, do you have a favorite band? Like, what music do you listen to when it comes to?
I listen to everything nowadays. I mean, it's all over the board. But
when you think of us, like, who's your maybe not your favorite singer, but a top 5?
Well,
maybe that make it easier. Like,
there's a lot, but I say Tesla's probably my all-time favorite.
Oh, hey, there
they're
you
just
go.
just the best, just straight
song,
rock,
bro.
Just get them out there; they're awesome.
Yeah.
Every
they're
show
great.
is fantastic.
They're great. Yeah.
now,
so
would that
good.
include like being your favorite singer then, or do you have a favorite?
No, Jeff Keith wasn't quite my favorite singer. He was great, but he didn't quite have the range. Isn't the quite word or quite the right word, but everything was probably
His
the
voice,
same. But
though,
he didn't.
he's older and he's still.
Yeah, he's got a singer thing.
jamming
He
now.
does a
He's
little
got
more falsetto stuff now, but he still kills the key. You know,
sure.
and I hate to say, I mean, probably I like Lane Staley a lot just because he's all over the board. He can
What band is that? The name sounds
That's
familiar.
Alice in Chains.
Okay.
Yeah.
because he can have a nice
down,
deep,
yeah.
this cool deep rich tone, and then he can scream, and then he
and
can
the
early
new-
stuff he gets higher. You know,
The
which is
lead
fun.
singer for Alice in
Yeah,
Chains
Willem.
now. Yeah, he's great. I saw
Yeah, he
him.
sounds like him.
He's great. He's
Yeah.
great. He's been with them long enough to where
Yeah.
he's great.
Yeah, and I love Cornell. I like Cornell's.
yeah.
He's such a unique. Because there's nobody can even really imitate.
No.
He hits some
No.
notes that are, which that's one of my favorite songs to play. Is we played Jesus Christ Pose. We play a lot of
yes,
songs in Seattle.
yes.
People are like, "What the hell is that?"
Right. No,
Now, I'm
it's great
assuming because
shit,
since
dog.
you never went out to LA, do you have any stories of any famous celebrities like that you got to perform with, or any
Yeah, we opened with.
encounter or interact with?
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot. We opened we got to play with Dangerous Toys when I was in Looks to
Hey,
Kill. And I can't
I've
remember.
seen Dangerous Toys, man.
I can't remember the singer's name, but he's such a cool dude.
The singer and the guitar player are both lit, man.
Oh, there
they're
you go.
great. I don't know their
I
names.
do like lit. We got, and then
They're not,
trying to
they're
think what
not
we did.
lit, but I mean they're like great lit. That's what I meant.
They weren't
And
drunk at the time.
and I'm drunk.
Right. In 90 minutes, we got to open for the Gin Blossoms. I didn't get to meet those guys, but that was fun. Out the legends.
Cool.
How
I saw
long were you
them.
in 90 minutes, guys?
Hey.
A year.
year,
The first year.
'cause-
The first year. We started in my basement.
Oh, okay.
Let all those guys know that.
Because I know, like
Just
what I call the classic lineup, which included Mole.
Right.
Was-
because he was there for like 3 years.
6 years.
After me. Was it that long?
I
know
think it
was
was 3 to 6 years. Yeah. You know, and then Tyler Lyon replaced him for a
Yeah.
couple, and then the band folded.
Yeah.
All right.
You know,
All right.
long. Yep. I met.
was Sarah in that? Were you singing with Sarah in the
Yeah.
band? And okay,
Yeah, I had never.
90s theme tribute.
Yeah. I never really met Tyson. I'd seen him. We'd go to and see because he messed around with some load point pole. I knew
Palomino.
Doug Kenworthy and
Yeah.
Frankie and Tommy and all those guys. It's funny, when I first started, there was like a clear line of demarcation. It was kind of weird. We always felt because the Kansas folks stayed on the Kansas side, Missouri folks stayed on the Missouri side, and those guys are all up north. So they're like north, like the Baloney Ponies and
Sure. Yeah,
like all those
I remember
guys.
Baloney Ponies,
They
yeah.
were huge. I mean, I love
great.
it. It's one of my favorite shows
Yeah.
to go see, and that's where I
Right.
met most of those folks. But no, but there wasn't a lot of intermingling back then. It was weird. I'm sure that was
It
my
was the
experience.
early 2000s, whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, so we got to do anyway. So Tyson, he used to do that "Shut Up and Sing" at Fuel on 119th, and I go out there and I did a song or two, and I would talk to Tyson. We exchanged numbers, and he called me because he had this idea. He wanted to work with people he'd never worked with before, except for Go-Go. So it's Go-Go, and we all met at my house because I had a house in Mission, again. Actually, it was Merriam, just on the other side of I-35. But we practiced in my basement, and it was myself, Vince Kirk, Brian Brooks, Go Ray, and Tyson.
Brian Brooks, he's a bro of mine, man. Guitar player.
I love Brian. He's a good dude.
Yeah. Sure.
And then Brian had,
good friend.
Vince left before we really got out of our basement to play a show. And then, that might have been when the John Pine came in and started filling in. And then Brian left because had Maddie the kid and all stuff,
sure,
and he's like, I just it's a lot right now because we were playing sometimes it was 5 nights a week.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's insane to think that that's what bands did back then.
I know,
because now it's like with the bands, it's like, oh yeah, no, you don't want to oversaturate. You don't want to play more than twice a month.
We were Tuesday Jerry's, Wednesday Jerry's Lee Summit, Thursday at the Roxy, and then we could do
the Roxy,
Friday and or Saturday
at a random place around town.
Fucking duck, bro.
Yeah. It was fun, but it was a lot. It was a lot. I gave it a go. I thought I could. Well, maybe I can just do band stuff for a while. And I lasted about 9 months.
Good.
And about
That's
3
good
months
run.
into, I was like, well, I can't quite get there, so I worked at FedEx from like 2 to 6, loading trucks, just to make it.
Just
get a
and
then I'd go play for a while. But.
Right. Yeah.
But but that's where 90 Minutes got going, and we played for about a year, and then just kind of started ending for me.
So and the Suburbans are Suburbans is on here.
Suburbans.
That's the Sorrow Suburbans, right?
I mean, we're Suburbans.
Yeah,
guys.
that whole thing still got me. I'm just kidding. No,
it's weird
because we played. So
show me on this doll where the Suburbans touched you.
That's exactly right.
I'll tag Sorrow on this.
Okay, sorry. No, sorry.
Sorrow. So we started. I met Sorrow and Bill Manson, some other guys, and Alan Gates was our guitar player, and we had Brett Ferguson who came in too. They were all original guys, and this was their first. That's when we formed the Lounge Lizards, and we did that for a long time. And then I think we played for like 2 or 3 years, and we kind of broke. Stopped playing after a while and do different things. And then, 10 or 15 years later, Keith calls me up because we'd still hang out every now and then because he moved to Vegas for a while.
Yes,
yeah.
Went out there and hung out for a little bit.
We talked about that in his interview. Yeah.
Yep. And so those guys got this itch, and then I just kind of kept going with just different bands and this and that, and they called me like, hey, you want to get back and just goof around and play? We just we don't play anymore. We'd like to get back and play. I was like, sure. And then we got another friend of ours, Dan Luma, great dude, and it was just 4 of us, and then we were Midlife Crime Scene. And I'll never forget the call because Keith's like, yeah, we just want to play. We just kind of got an itch again. We just kind of maybe once a month, just want to get out there and do that, And then 8 months later, it's like, all right, we need more gigs. We got to change our name. It's not good enough.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm like, wait a second. I thought this was just kind of for, but then then now they've been playing for, forever.
Okay. And Keith mentioned Midlife Crime Scene. He mentioned that. That's where I've heard that before.
We probably had the worst set list ever.
Well, okay.
But
what
that
was
point,
it?
we
What
just
was your set list then?
We played Godzilla. Halfway another bites the dust. Yeah, we played
dust.
LaGrange, just jam weird stuff. Just odd because we're like, it'd be fun. I'd never play in a real band because we were just goofing around. So we picked these weird songs, and like Manson would pull out like an old, was it Kool in the Gang, Celebrate or something like that? I just want to say,
whatever gets him out on the dance floor.
It didn't really though too much. Every now and then. And then we started playing Jesse's Girl, which is another staple for everybody.
Sure.
Which is fun. I never got to play it, but I would
What about
stop
I Love
in the
Rock
break
and Roll?
Piss. We never really played that.
Probably good for you.
Right? Yeah, I played that in another band,
you.
but not that one.
Oh. What band was that?
So you were the first, were you the first singer in the Suburbans then more?
Yes.
That's right. Okay. That's such a fascinating, because I didn't meet Keith until Brian had been in the band. That was 2018, 2019. So that's my meeting. And then to find out that, you were the original guy.
That's crazy.
I know, which I kind of miss. I feel like I am like the Kevin Bacon of the Kansas City music scene.
Oh, that's right.
It's more like probably 4 or 5 degrees separation of somebody. And the Suburbans, I think, are probably one of the only bands that the Mole didn't follow me, coattail me on.
Oh, shit.
Funny you say that because they pursued him. They pursued him.
We're always
the Suburbans are about to switch over to a new singer because Brian's retiring. Brian Wallace is retiring at the end of the year, and Cham, who was
he's taken over, isn't he?
He's the guy. But during that auditioning process, they had called Mullen to kind of like, hey, what do you think? Do you want to be part of it? So it's funny. It's funny. It's funny that that almost it would have been a 5th or 6th.
Mole almost did some Seattle for stuff
Where
too.
the whole band said that Jason Molnar has followed up.
What's that?
Bill Cameron. What are the bands that he's...
Nine Finger Nun.
Nine Finger Nun.
90 minutes.
And 90 minutes are the two big ones.
Yeah.
That's it.
There was,
There may be a
I feel like
third. There may be a third.
Almost
or
a Suburban.
almost Suburbans, almost Seattle. I think they finally
Almost
decided, they're
Seattle.
like, we're just not going to do it. Because I remember Tony's
Okay.
like, dude, we almost got the mole when we did some shows. I was like, that's cool. But there's like, then they decided just to not do it and then go back later.
It
But
should
it's
be
just funny.
you, bro.
And one of my favorites, I know you had kind of an email you sent to me that talking about that, and you're like, how you guys have a running joke how we're like the same person but not
It's
quite
like-
it. But
Yeah.
we had, I remember, I forget, we played at Jerry's and we practiced with the mole came out, and we sang Hunger Strike. And it's funny, Brian was out there, so I'll never forget. Brian's like, it's just weird. It's like seeing Sasquatch and Bigfoot in the same room.
I was about to literally. I took photos that night, and I was like, I think I even posted it. I posted it on Facebook. It's like Sasquatch and Bigfoot.
It's just weird. It's
There you go.
I know. It's just funny. It's like Mole and I, we
Still
talk
can't
about it.
see
He's
that
like,
way.
Mole, every now and then Mole will be like, it's weird. Like, people think that we just don't like each other. It's like we're, just enemies or something. It's just kind of funny. Which we should
When do
keep
you
it
leave
up.
in town? What are you?
keep that
How long
going.
are you in town for? You leaving tomorrow
Heading
or
back
what?
tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, dang.
Heading back tomorrow.
Well, it's a good run for you. I mean, what a great way to end your trip here to have a podcast on Kansas City Night.
Kansas City Nights.
The podcast.
That's right.
And
Absolutely.
I tell you what, every time
Look how much whiskey we
drank this whole fucking half this bottle.
I like how it's we drink.
I drank
that, but that's
actually. That's what it is.
It's only 90
It's
proof.
been rough.
There you go.
I was
There you
at
go.
Jerry's last night, so
Fast times.
let's do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fast times.
I know. I'd almost, think about going out tonight, but I'm like, ugh.
We can
I
go
think I'm good.
to
I am
Social Bar and Grill for
The stolen Winnebagos or the old
Winnebagos, if you wanna
Roxy.
go. Brian will drive us.
There
Seriously.
you go. Well, then my car's stuck in Bonner, and that's never
Well,
It's a bad,
Then I have to double
bad
back.
news.
right. Double back.
What part of Overland Park is your mom?
She is out almost to Olathe. She's at like 135th and Flom.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right, it's a good spot. It's a good
This
spot.
is just quick jaunt down K7 to.
Right? Hang a
gotta be
Louis,
proud of
Louis
you.
on 435.
She's got to be proud. Joyce has got to be proud of you and all that you've accomplished, man.
You
know.
you would think so, but we'll see.
Yeah, I know so. I don't know so, but I'm sure she
Yeah,
is.
it's good times, And again, I think I've forgotten a lot more than I've remembered over the
okay.
years, which tells me that was probably a pretty good time. Then.
Right,
That's good.
exactly. And
Cliff
you're a
Notes.
great guy. And anytime I've seen Seattle, which is, I don't know,
A couple minutes.
6 or 7.
See, it must be
Oh,
growing because
there's
the cat's
Clyde, the
back down.
podcast.
There he
cat.
is. He's here.
You want to
Like,
pick him
he
up,
just
Brian?
rushed
I'll get
by
out.
Pick him
me.
up. Pick him up. Come
We'll
on.
try that again.
Oh,
huh?
he started running off, bro. Come here, Clyde.
Oh,
there. See,
Shit.
wow.
Get
See,
him a microphone. Get him some
he
headphones.
knows.
just one up me.
He
One up
knows.
me.
He knows.
He smells all the other 17
Well,
cats.
I mean, can you guys think of any other bridges I could burn real quick before we roll out, or is
I
that
don't
probably
know.
good? Or
I don't know.
I think we've covered it.
I think
We're
we're
good.
good.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey,
we want to thank Bill Cameron for making time to join
Yes.
us at the last.
cheers.
too much, folks?
We've been talking about this, so I'm glad we did it. We'll have our empty glasses here
Empty
to raise.
glass.
Cheers.
Ladies
Yeah,
and
a little
gentlemen,
bit, but yeah.
Bill
Yeah,
Cameron,
thank you so much.
Have a
Right.
safe trip back to Oklahoma
Yeah.
City tomorrow.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Love
Absolutely.
Seattle, man. Love
Appreciate you.
Love
Absolutely.
Seattle,
Thank you.
dude.
Kansas City Night.
Yeah, watch out.
See you next time, guys.
What you got? What you got?